You are listening to the Cheetah Culture USA show, the only news and podcast in English about AS Cittadella. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Cheetah Culture USA show, episode number 145, coming to you on Monday, October 20th. A new era has begun for Cittadella under new coach Alessandro Dal Canto, finishing 0-0 against Cosenza this past weekend. VAR ruling out what would have been potential winner, finally a home win since January, but the referee decided otherwise. We have that game to talk about, plus still talking about the decision of Dal Canto, the firing of Eduardo Guarini. It's still very fresh in everyone's minds. So with that, we're going to be talking about that. With me, we have, for the second time in this podcast, we hosted him, I believe it was in July, recapping the Lavarone preseason. Please welcome back Enrico Leo from Padova Oggi. Enrico, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Hi, man. It's a pleasure to return here. And was an incredible weeks here in Cittadella. In the last 2 weeks, we have changed the world totally.
Yeah. It's I think everyone was surprised by it. I mean, you said before we started this that they were saying like, oh no, Guarini is going to stay, and then literally the next morning, everything changed. He was sacked. So, I mean, it's been quite an incredible weeks. Very un-Cittadella like of getting Guarini, a coach fired. First time that's happened since 1996. So it's been crazy. And then you had Alessandro Dal Canto, the first week for him in charge and taking charge of the game against Cosenza. A very important match, like we were saying before the game, just given the two clubs struggling, two teams really in the relegation zone. We'll get into that game in a little bit. But to start off this, I kind of want to just hear your thoughts on this appointment by Alessandro Dal Canto. Like you've been in Cittadella, you went to the did you go to the conference for Alessandro Dal Canto? Have you spoken to him? Okay.
Yeah.
And so let me just start off by saying, how was the past 2 weeks? Just kind of explain your thoughts about what happened
simple.
As a reporter.
Very simple. Cittadella also adjusted. No, the end of an era, and the mid of in Cittadella we don't not exonerate. No, actually no. I believe more that Guarini exoneration, in my opinion, was inevitable. In the pre-exonerations week, DG Direttore Generale Stefano Marchetti's reflection were very, very long and very, very deep, and in the end was forced to press to the off button, on the technician. Well, maybe for Marchetti was the first time in 23 years as Cittadella executive, and I talked with Marchetti after the decision. Marchetti also said it was wavering. Guarini, a brother like him, was the most difficult software decision in his history, because it's a strong choice and against in his history. And I hope everyone understand how much a sense of responsibility is needed. In short, even at Tombolato, the rules of modern soccer apply finally, because if you don't bring the results, you jump. So even if you are a family, even if you're like a brother to those human age, even in the last 70 years of history of this life, and if you ever become a symbol of Cittadella between the field, the technical staff, and all the way to the first team bench, you jump. So in this 129 bench appearance, I think, in 3 seasons, 129, 28. I don't remember the exact number. For Guarini was a lot of challenge, because tried to difficult legacy of the Venturato era to manage between the dreams of Serie A and a Realpolitik. Sounds like Salvezza. Link point average of 1 and 21 was, well, good, but not too much like Venturato era. 3 stays in B, not without suffering, season by some exploits and empty passage, such as the 8 defeats in a row last campaign. So in this 2004 was like a nightmare, because just only won four matches in 2004, and the last one at the home was on the 33 January on 2004 against Palermo. So was not very simple situation, and between of the decision of the Federal Court with 0-3 against Pisa, and the defeats against Frosinone, and overall against Sassuolo, finally fell apart at the way for Gorini. The team at in this moment was very insecure, so soulless, riderless, with 6 goals at Mapei Stadium. Sublimati is an impossible one to ignore. So finally Marchetti pressed the button off, and now start Dal Canto era. Totally different, but in continuity with the decision about tactical and about other choice respect than Gorini's era.
That's, I think, playing in that, the factor of just given that 2024 has been so bad for Cittadella. Like you said, only 4 wins, 1 home win, and they're setting, all kinds of unwanted records. You think back to the 8 straight losses. You think back to currently the home games without a win. That's now 12 after the Cosenza match. That's the longest in club history. Then you got, the 6-1 defeat, the largest defeat in Cittadella club history. I think, it was finally, like you said, I did read that, Marchetti said it was the hardest decision he's ever had to made in Cittadella, just given how Cittadella is just really like a family club. And, Gorini has been here for 17 years as a player, assistant coach, as now a head coach. It just, unfortunately, I don't think it worked out, but I believe he was really respected a lot throughout the club. And I was able to meet him just briefly when I was there in March, and he seemed like a really, really nice guy. Just unfortunately,
it's a beautiful person. Gorini, character and about the person, it's incredible. It's perfect. But I think for the team group was the end of a lot of situation. I don't know if you have if you had the tricky situation on the bench or on the in the vestry, but probably maybe something like stopped with the team, with the leaders of the team, and maybe the change is the better choice for the 2 parts for part.
So Enrico, I want to ask you this just really quickly. So Gorini sacked. Do you think that was the right decision by the club? Because it is still a little bit of risky, because Alessandro Dal Canto, hasn't came from the Cittadella system. Like Gorini took over from Venturato, but Gorini had been there for many years in the club. Do you think it was the right decision, or do you think it was finally time to kind of move on after all the difficulties?
Well, in this moment, for me, a disconnection signal, maybe it's good. Maybe it's good because a former of Padua, Vicenza, and Venice, returns to Veneto. Is the zone who knows very well, because he's native from Castelfranco Veneto, 20 kilometers away from the Cittadella town. And really, I think maybe it's a good decision to take him, on the bench of Cittadella. He was a very good coach with a young talent, because, for example, in 2011, who was able to bring a just age Stefano El Shaarawy to step from the A, from Padua. And it's a very pragmatical technique. It's very pragmatical coach. And maybe it's a good choice finally. Just only the results will be said about. We just talk about it's a good decision, it's the right decision, or it's a bad decision. But for now, at the moment, we just talk with a football player or with him. I think it's a good decision, because my sensation about Del Canto, it's very realistic man, very realistic, and it's a very good worker, very strong worker, and very hard worker. So for me, last week, in my opinion, marked a very crucial period for Cittadella, for him. And now we just look about the other situation. Now we have a lot of matches very strong against Carrarese, against Sampdoria, against Palermo, and against Cesena before the other sosta, no?
Yeah.
So we are very curious. We are very curious about him and about his tactical idea.
Yeah, and so Del Canto was announced by the club on Monday. I think we all knew the rumors were starting to get out a few days prior, but Del Canto's presentation was Monday there. It was streamed on the YouTube channel, so I was able to watch some of it. It was interesting to see that Del Canto, he seemed very calm about the situation, kind of saying that the situation is normal, because the squad obviously hasn't been doing well on the results side of things. But he believes that the team is still well. It's a well constructed team. It's a well kind of well bonded team, and they're just the results just hasn't been going the way. So Del Canto, his debut was this Saturday against Cosenza. What did you see during this Cosenza match, or just throughout the week, from Del Canto's point of view? I wasn't able to watch the Cosenza match. I was in the middle of traveling, but so I'm very curious to see, like, what did you see, and what do you think of Del Canto so far?
Well, the firstly choice is not one go straight for Cittadella, firstly, because the appointment with Home Victory still postponed, and then the Canto Premier, it ends 0-0, and against the Cosenza, outnumbered for more than an half due to Venturi's red. The point, the point that is good for emotive situation, but nothing to us, because both teams take a small step forward, and maybe cover the hemorrhage of defeats. Both remain where at the start of game, and the problem of scoring remains for Cittadella. With Gorini or Del Canto is the same situation. And against Cosenza, we had 4 glorious chances wasted by Del Canto players, and in the second half, in numerical superiority, the team not properly exploited the situation. That's true. Well, the game was dominated about every rain at the Tombolato. Del Canto didn't surprise nothing, because not change anything, because he's confirmed the system 4-3-1-2 and confirmed the same people, the same man at Gorini's decision. Otherwise, well, the only changes is the position of the central defensive, because Angeli was on the center right and
Hmm.
Pavan on the center left. Otherwise, everything was the same, with Rabbi and the Zogus up front, Vita on the three quarter, and the usual midfield with Amatucci, Casolari, and Branca. In this point of view, the approach of Del Canto was the same about Gorini, and the approach of the game was positive, because in the first 11 minutes we have a very good big chances with the Zogus and Vita find themselves
Yeah,
alone.
Vita
Alone,
should have scored that.
yeah, the Vita was incredible, and well, the difference again about Gorini's matches was, for example, the free of Rabbi to attack the front of the attack. And in the first part of the game, Cittadella created a lot of chance. Another one, for example, with Vidacu, with a great approach of Mikai on the corner. And in the second part of the game, in the second part of the game, we have three chances. One with the Zogus, one with Rabbi, and in the last part of game with the Tessiore. And well, yeah, in the final we have the goal of Pavan, but well,
VAR.
was missed goal because he was in offside. And well, in this moment, nothing goes straight for this Cittadella. This true story.
Yeah,
We,
I was
it was,
thinking
yeah,
like,
they weren't lucky. No, they weren't. Cittadella in this moment wasn't lucky, but maybe in the next match against Carrarese, ex team for Mr. Del Canto, because train the
yeah,
Toscani's team on July 22 since January 24. Maybe we go attack to a great result. Ah, well, I didn't remember a very great story about the match, because at 70 minutes of the game, on Tombolato fans, the Granatas fans, tributes a very long applause to Gorini
I did see that.
for his 70th year career in Cittadella, and for all to donate about this game. I wrote about that because for me it was a very lesson in sharing about Cittadella's fans. Was confirmed a very an extraordinary lesson about sports, about civility. It was very spontaneous, deeply felt gesture from Granata's fan, and for me was the
Yeah,
best about the matches of Cittadella and Cosenza.
yeah, that kind of really is, you know, I really like that when I did see at the 17th minute, like you said, just applauding Gorini. I think that really just shows you what Cittadella is about. It's just, you know, the community,
Yeah,
the family.
the family.
I know on the field it didn't go well, but you know, Gorini is always 17 years with the club. That's no you know, easy thing to do. So it's really it was really a good moment, and I'm sure Guarini will find something in the future. But yeah, this was a game like you said, with the that I agree with you that that VAR decision at the end, that really just sums up Cittadella in 2024. It seems like maybe just a little bit of joy to finally get that thing going, but VAR cools it off and no
Well,
win
because
again.
yeah, no, yeah, really. But well, about Gorini's tribute. Finally, the last choice about that for me, in a football, that it's often dominated by divisions. In my opinion, this gesture was a reminder that gratitude can go beyond any outcome, and reminded like Gorini, for everyone, the man of the story cannot be erased. So for me, is the most important. Yes, 2024 was a nightmare for Cittadella's fans. Is just indeniable. It's true. It's obviously it's totally true.
Nothing's
But
going
now,
right.
no, nothing's going right. But it's incredible because if you remember again after the game against Palermo, the Serie A was at 2 points. So we are just
they were in third.
Well, it's just inexplicable to keep pass about this group, about this team. This team very was doing very about mentality, not strong, not very strong. In the difficult situation, this group fallen out, not to catch up the occasion to demonstrate, well, we are strong, and now we go to remount a game or to something like good about the matches. No, when Cittadella fallen out, fall with in Italian said with due piedi, with 2 feet, no. And if you played in the Serie B, in the very tall level, very strong level, very good, very incredible level of Italian football, maybe one of the most important of the world, this debilitation, this no character, you didn't perform it. For me, is not explicable, and it's not correct for the fans and from themselves, for the group too.
Yeah, I think if I recall, I think you said this it was on a show of Rigorosamente Cittadella. I watched it after the Sassuolo defeat. You were there. I don't recall if you said it or it was Diego Zilio of Il Mattino di Padova who said it. Is that I think since Manuel Iori left, it's just Cittadella was really missing.
Really sensible.
Sorry?
Really sensible group, really sensible team.
Yeah, and they're really missing like that leader of Perticone or Iori on the field where you could really listen to them, especially during lockdown. And yeah, I think.
Yeah, but I don't know because Branca or Pavan or Maniero or Vita, they studied with Iori or with Perticone. They studied leadership with this big captain of the past of Cittadella. So for me, this reason is partially correct, but not totally, because in my opinion, well, Branca probably is not the dreams leader of the group, but is the person with a lot of strength, and on the pitch, run and gives a help with the other people every time, everywhere, in which situation of the pitch. So for me, probably is the leader. So it's different leader. It's not vocal leader like Perticone or like Iori too. Yeah, for me, the very raise of the very reason of this leadership crisis of Cittadella maybe is the not ever been bought a leadership on the football market. But maybe it's normal because the experience, the leadership on the Italian football market, is not cheap. Totally, it's very, very. So it's not simple to catch a great player or an experienced player with economics limits of Cittadella. Iori returns on Cittadella because he played when he was young, and he remembered the fantastic health and the fantastic ambient environment of Cittadella. And when he returned here, he thought about this Cittadella. Okay, so now it's more different. The football change, and now the economics and the economics aspects are more important for new generation football player like Ioris or Perticone generations. So now to catch leadership on the calciomercato is not simple for Marchetti, and I justificate Marchetti because, for example, I don't know, a player like Lucioni. No, I don't know. It was a very big defender with a lot of experience. Maybe will propose to play here in Cittadella like a very, very big money, and Cittadella didn't spend a big money. Cittadella have another mentality about that. Prefer to spend the money. It will be valorize the technical assets, the player assets, and after we sold this player, but it's more difficult. It's very, very difficult to Cittadella buy a big player or a player with experience. So it's these details for me, it's very important, because if you have a player with experience, maybe or probably this situation you didn't have a court. I'm surely about that. If you have 2 or 3 people with this choice of experience, maybe it didn't pass like this situation about 8 defeats or 4 defeats in the season 2002 and 2003 on December. I imagine you remember these periods when you are penultimate on the classification, and maybe you have the one seat on the Serie C and not in the Serie B. You have experienced people on the bench, because Salvi, for example, it's very, very experienced man who knows very well a lot of Serie B categories, but maybe it's a different leader. Maybe it's not vocal leader, or maybe it's not technical leader. And in this moment, for example, for Cittadella, is necessarily a vocal and technical leader. Maybe at the calciomercato of January will arrive something like that. But at now we have this situation, and at now we must have to form a group, with a strong group, and with this strong group we keep strong, and we will try to catch more points for this group to keep active about this situation.
Well, that's going to be definitely something to keep an eye out on. But like you just said about those leaders, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. But I just want to read you just a little bit, just catching up with Serie B Matchday 9. Here we had a few big results, a lot of goals in this round of Matchday 9. You got Bari tying Catanzaro 1-1 on Friday. Palermo blowing a 2-0 lead at Modena. Spezia still undefeated. Pisa came back at Südtirol. Sassuolo defeated Brescia at home at Brescia 5-2. And then the big game on Sunday was Cesena against Sampdoria 5-3. So 8 goals in that. That's really quite remarkable there. But if you look at the standings, Pisa still in first place with 22 points, Spezia in second, 19. Really interesting about Spezia is that they've only scored 1 goal in open play, which means, basically without a penalty, without a corner kick, without throw-in, whatever. They've only scored 1 goal in that, which is really interesting when you look at it. Let me see here. Let me go down to the bottom of the table. Yes, Cittadella, 18th place with only 8 points, with 2 wins, 2 draws, and 5 losses, even though one of those losses was at Avellino, which was the game against Pisa. Their next match is against 17th place Carrarese, 8 points, same record as Cittadella, but with a better goal difference. Now, this is once again another big scontri diretti, as they say it in Italian, and this was really the keys, the key moments, because when Dal Canto was appointed, we were saying that Cosenza Carrarese, these are 2 huge matches, and it's really going to be. I wouldn't say it's really defining, because we're still in October. There's still a long season to go, but these are 2 very important games coming up against Carrarese Saturday, October 26th, 5:15 Eastern, not Eastern, European time, and 11:15 a.m. on the East Coast here in the United States. It's a huge game because we'll talk about the future schedule in a little bit, but Enrico, I want to ask you about this game upcoming. I know it's only Monday, but do you think this is a must-win game for Cittadella, just given how big of it is in terms of the standings, or because Carrarese, this will be their second really home match at the Stadio dei Marmi after the renovation. So how do you see this match? Do you think it's a must-win?
Yeah, totally must-win for Cittadella, because it will be a salvation clash to all intents and purposes, with an nexus and connection that such a match can bring on a nervous and tactical level. I imagine a tense match similar to the one against Cosenza, that will play on the edge of the episode, in which Cittadella we have to be more concrete in the finalizing phase. Who knows if Cassano will be seen from the first minutes, and if he will recover Simone Rabbi, the MVP against Cosenza, from his sprained left ankle. Well, to me, and now Carrarese, in the last match, Carrarese drew against Mantova 1-1, showing off a decent and quite purposeful game. Will that deserve the 3 points? Probably. Not less, because it was able to instantly put back the disadvantage of ex-former of Cittadella Mancuso, already the Granata, the Granata's ex-Sciuconier with Mantova more than a month ago. So I know, for me, Carrarese is not simple. It's a special match for Dal Canto, who managed in Tuscany for 2 years. And after this exoneration, Calabro conduced the Carrarese at Serie B, won the playoff final against Vicenza. In the Carrarese, most prominent players, we have Finotto. There is the offensive reference of Carrarese, and is a player of Cittadella. Do you remember well?
Yes,
imagine,
of course.
Imagine, yeah. And as well as Panico, 7 goals in Panico, 7 goals in 47 caps between 2018 and 2020. In addition to the 2 of them, we have directors. Schiavi is a young player, but with enormous growth prospects. So I imagine a very, 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 very strong match. Finally, the episode will be very, very determinant.
Yeah, this is a really important game for Cittadella, not only just because of the current standings, but as it looks likely that Cittadella it's going to be one of those seasons, kind of similar to 2 seasons ago, where they were survived on the last day against Como, kind of towards the final day. So you expect Cittadella and Carrarese to be in these kind of lower
Yeah,
standings teams. So obviously the games, the head-to-head games are very important. Just given that it is at Carrara, their home stadium, the Stadio dei Marmi, was
Stadio
recently
dei
renovated.
Marmi.
It's it's a
Yeah.
it's an astroturf, so it's a rough playing surface because it's not natural grass. So the ball is going to be bouncing weird. It's going to be difficult, and I suppose that Carrarese has the enthusiasm and the energy
Oh,
of just playing at home finally after so many years. Interesting thing that I was looking at. This is going to be the eighth all-time meeting with Carrarese, and Cittadella has never lost to them. They've had 5 wins, 2 draws, and 0 losses. This is also the
yeah.
first meeting in Serie B ever. This is the first time they've ever met in Serie B. The first
Hmm.
time since they've met overall since the 2012 Coppa Italia. But yeah, like you said, Carrarese, recently they've been performing better. They've had recently the 1-1 draw against Mantova. They had the away win against Frosinone, who are really struggling at the moment. And then they had the goalless draw against Reggiana. So they are racking up some points. But like you said, it's a special game because it is Dal Canto's return to Carrara, who was he was in charge of them for a season and a half. Um, Another reason why this game is looking to be very important because if you look at Cittadella's upcoming schedule, it's going to be a few weeks of very difficult matches. I mean, I'll read you
Yeah.
the schedule. It's home against Sampdoria, away against Palermo,
Hmm.
home against Cesena. Then there's the international break. Away against Bari, home Juve Stabia, away Spezia, and at home against Cremonese. A lot of those teams are in the top 10, the top 8 of Serie B. I know Sampdoria and even Cesena right now are a bit struggling, but they're always going to be difficult opponents. In November, Cittadella's got to make 2 long trips to Palermo, to Bari, 2 stadiums. Very difficult, but also the travel instance there. Spezia, very good. Juve Stabia has been proving to be very tough this season, and Cremonese with the new coach Corini after Stropa's dismissal are expected to be much better. So this is another reason why this is shaping up to be a very important game. Is just given
Yeah.
the upcoming schedule. How do you see this next upcoming weeks for Cittadella?
Well, without going beyond the November break, I will focus on these first 4 matches we mentioned with Carrarese. The match must win. So this match must win because it's important, too much important to keep the points at this moment for for the standings, for the classification, for the schedule, because in the middle of the week of the next week after Carrarese, the day before Halloween against Sottile Sampdorias, well, was a big match, and last year's match with Samp kicked off Cheetah's 2024 crisis.
Yeah.
So, and probably from this match, the team has not since recovered, in my opinion.
Oh,
I,
the with
in my
the blue shirts. That game, I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah, with a blue shirt. Well, the current Sampdoria has big names in the forward: Coda, Tutino, healthy Pedrola, not Porini, but have the tightness problems in the middle in defense. The 3-5-2 seen against Cesena, which has as many as 5 goals scored, but also 3 conceded, is a proof of this. In the middle, in the middle of midfielding was a very great performance for Male Malustin, with the double against the Romagnolis team, and show it that is a superior mind, is a superior player for this level. And probably for the match against Chita, we have recovered totally Pedrola as well. But in my opinion, the issue of balance between defensive and offensive phase for Sampdoria always remains, because now Sampdoria it's not balanced. It's not balanced team. And to close the week on November 3, there is a Dionysis Palermo, another team like Sampdoria in search of an identity. Well, last year we have a sweet remember with Cittadella won with Pandolfi's first goal in the Grand in the 94 minutes or 96 minutes. I'm sorry for my not good precision, but
yeah, it was
who knows if that's who knows if that will be the case again this year. But I don't know. In this moment, Cittadella that solidified the Dal Canto's vision, that solidified the Dal Canto's tactical changes. And before the November's break, Cesenov, Mignani, and the great former Antonucci is another big match.
Donnarumma.
Donnarumma too is the team to be taken with caution, with the crazy variable spending in the forward, 21 years old striker with a sure future, a big future. In my opinion, is the best 3 forward in the league at the moment. In my opinion, if you catch 6 points in these 4 games, it would be fat for Dal Canto, but it's better without making tables. And for me, it's better to focus on Saturday's one and try to bring home a entire stake. Because with a win over Carrese, you will face the remaining round of matches with more serenity, with emotionally lighter. And this team, we have seen, needs to be characteristically free of a bad thoughts to perform at its best. So in my opinion, for me, there is no question about that. That's the only question. In my very, very tired opinion, and in my very humility opinion. So for me, is that.
Yeah, I agree that they need something about this game, like you said, just to give that kind of relief and to kind of go into this next upcoming games with a little bit of a free mind and not just with that pressure of really needing a result. And I think definitely they need a home win. They need to get a home win, whether it's like 1-0 or 2-1. Even if they have to like grind it out, they have to get that home win, because every game that they don't win at home, it just brings more and more pressure. It kind of has that monkey on their back. They got to get it off.
Yeah, but away matches, in my opinion, now for Cittadella is better, because we don't have this pressure, and maybe you will play more lighter, with more light, with more serenity, and probably with a mind. So in this moment, the mind, the emotion, the positive thoughts, the positive thinking is very, very important for football team Cittadella. And in my opinion, now is more important to we just look about Dal Canto's work, because Dal Canto known for his pragmatic and versatile approach, but is beginning to make his mark on the team, implementing changes both on and off the field. For example, against Cosenza, one of the most noticeable changes is the defensive organization, because Cittadella team that had already shown signs of consistency earlier in the season, but for example, against Frosinone and Sassuolo, especially, had shown macroscopic distraction, began to show signs, and now we just began to show signs of greater discipline at department level against Cosenza. For example, the position swap of the two center backs, but not only that. For example, the Pavan point out in the post-match that for him playing, for example, on the center left does not change him that much. And Angeli against the Cosenza, for example, did very well and seemed more at easy in some outings. Dal Cantos, for example, preferences for a compact and well-structured defense is blatant and aims to reduce the gaps called imbarcate, boardings, no, in English, as Dal Canto pointed out in the post-match about that, because they were previously exploited by opponents. Now, in the past, for example, against Frosinone or Sassuolo, we've seen a lot of imbarcate, a lot of boarding. So the catch for at the moment did not touch the team's ability to win back the ball in the opponent's half, and no mark of Cittadella, we know, since for Scarini years. But now it's switched quickly from the approach of defense, and in the midfield, for example, the focus has been more than fluidity of the possession and the ball rotation. And for example, in the Scalto system, often prioritize of control of the center of the field using combination of possession and sudden, not improvisally verticalization from sudden verticalization. Personally, I observed a different choice of strategic pressing times, for example, than in the past. Some very clear outputs, for example, on Cosenza's weakness on the right of the zone, for example, for Cosenza. So 1 week or 10 weeks of the work, or maybe will be imagine of Carrarese matches. 2 weeks of the war is too little to judge, and certainly the players are working to develop a greater understanding of each other's movements and something like that. However, this is in an area for me that one will be crucial for future performance. For example, forward movements will need time to fully match it, and I don't know if the moment for the new tactics lineups maybe will be arrived, because, for example, Tronkin's return is also expected for some variation of the team as well. For example, the full recovery to the case of Tessiore, who appeared very reliably in the final 30 minutes on Saturday. It will be a great notice. For example, offensively, the worst attack of the category, there is a still room improvement. This is certainly
absolutely.
Because the team shows a greater cohesion to creating choices, to creating a situation, but it lacks the ability to convert them into the goals. So it's a very great problem. And well, in the categories like Serie B, it's very, very important to have a bomber, to have a cannoniere, to strike, to realize this a lot of game. There's a lot of situation in the front of the goalkeeper, the other rivalry goalkeeper. So for me, Dal Canto's next challenge will be to unlock the attacking potential of this forward. Priraus is still more aggressive or risk-taking mentality in case offensive players, because in the terms of player morale and adaptability, the team seems to be responding positively to Dal Canto's methods. But now it's important to mark the goal, to strike the goal.
Yeah, that's going to be definitely one to watch, because, like you said, Cittadella with the worst attack in terms of goals scored in Serie B. Yeah. Well, we gotta wrap things up pretty quickly here, because we are running a little bit out of time, but it's all good. But Like I said, Cittadella taking on Carrarese. Big match for Cittadella in match day 10 of Serie B on Saturday, October 26th, 5:15 p.m. European time. It's 11:15 a.m. Eastern time, so a little later for us here in the United States. So could sleep in a little bit and get some coffee and enjoy the match. But Enrico, do you have anything to add? Do you want to add anything else to here? Did we talk about everything we wanted to?
Oh, I hope we have just talked about every argument about the presence of Cittadella. This is the moment of Cittadella. We just hope to return to win against Carrarese.
Yeah, let's hope. But thank you, Enrico, for joining this podcast. I know I wanted to have you on because I did know that it was a really busy week. You were at the Tombolato for Dal Canto for Guarini's dismissal. So I knew you were you'd have a good mind and good reflection on this. But yes, thank you once again for joining this. You could tell everyone where you could find you on social or what you do for Padova Oggi.
And Gazzetta dello Sport too, because I write to newspaper, to principal newspaper sports of Italy in Gazzetta for Cittadella contributors, and maybe on LinkedIn or in Instagram with Nelio9069. I'm here on Instagram with this name. On Facebook if you want. This is my social page.
All right. Well, if you're looking for us on Città Calcio USA, it is at Città Calcio USA for YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You could find everything there. Please check out our website, cittacalciousa.com. We'll have match previews, recaps, articles, news, all that stuff about Cittadella in English. So you could find us there. For me and Enrico, thank you for listening to this podcast. Cittadella looking to get that much needed win against Carrarese this upcoming Saturday. We will talk to you next week. And as always, Forza Città. Thank you for listening to the Città Calcio USA show. If you liked it, please share and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Città Calcio USA. See you next time, and remember, Forza Città.